Hello guys, welcome to another LabVIEW video tutorial in which we are gonna discuss about the local variables. So we will discuss how we can use local variables, why we need to use local variables, and what are the benefit of using local variables. And we can cover what are other kind of variables which are possible in LabVIEW. So one of the benefit of LabVIEW's graphical approach to programming is that you can easily see parallelism in your code. So when the task within an application can be divided into section of codes that are independent of one another. So in this way, LabVIEW will automatically run them in separate threads, so which enables the program to take advantage of multi-core processors. So in this way, it's gonna execute multiple tasks simultaneously in parallel. For example, consider these two loops. The one loop which is acquiring a Celsius temperature by a random number generator function and multiplying with 22, and it's displaying the value of Celsius temperature. So we can see on this indicator, and the second loop is taking those values and then it's gonna convert this Celsius temperature to Fahrenheit, and then it's gonna display that temperature here. So my goal is, what I want to do is I want to run these two loops simultaneously. So as soon as the temperature of Celsius is gonna change, so I want to see the same display on the Fahrenheit temperature indicator. So let's run the code. And you can see like the Celsius value is gonna be changing, but unfortunately the Fahrenheit is not gonna change. And when I am gonna stop this code, so you can see the value of the Fahrenheit is changed, because the problem is data flow, and the second loop is dependent on the first loop, and the second loop is not executing until it is getting both of the values or both of the dependent values from the first loop. And the first loop is although creating Celsius temperature each and every time, but the stop condition which is not fulfilling. So this goal or the purpose of my code is not completed because the second loop is waiting for the first loop, and then when the first loop start executing, then it's gonna provide both of values to second loop, and then the second loop is gonna convert that Celsius temperature to Fahrenheit. So that's why when I stop the code, then the Fahrenheit temperature got affected, or it display the change in the Fahrenheit temperature. Sorry for distraction, but if you think my videos are helpful for you, or if you are a serious LabVIEW learner, then I am gonna highly recommend you can go into the description of this video, and then you can find a course link where I have over 5 hours of video where I explain each and every tool in very detailed and with an example as well. And if you have any ideas about collaborations, if you have some projects or assignments, any tasks, feel free to write me in my email, which is also in the description of this video. Thank you. So this is the limitation. So for that, what we can do is we can use local variables. So what are the local variables? So local variables are the variables which we can use throughout the VI, and they can be used to read or write the control or indicators on the front end or front end display. So what we are for using the local variables, what we need to do is I just need to delete all the wires. So I'm gonna select them. I'm gonna select the wires, and then I'm gonna press the delete key on my keyboard. So in this way I can delete. And then there are a lot of broken wires, so for that I need to press Ctrl B on my keyboard. So in this way I can get rid of all the broken wires. Okay, so now we want to introduce the local variables. For that, what I can do is I can right click on my block diagram, and then I'm gonna go into the structures, and here you can see there is an option for local variables. I'm gonna click on that, and then I'm gonna bring local variable here. So this local variable shows like this is not configured yet. So how I can configure? I can bring my cursor and I can left click on it. So these are the possible functions which we can use as a local variable here. So I want to use this local variable to get the Celsius temp. So I'm gonna select the Celsius temperature, and there is one more thing you can see, like it is gonna be converted into local variable, but the connecting terminal is on the left side. So it means this local variable can be used to write the value, but we want to use it not for the writing. We want to use this to read the values, so that's why we want to change this to the read. So for that I can right click on that, and here there should be some option, replace change to read. Yeah, here is the option change to read. So in this way I can change local variable to read. So now I'm gonna read the value from local variable of Celsius temp, and then I'm gonna use it here. So I can just move it a bit up, and then by using the spool of wire I can connect it to this function. So this is my first local variable. I want to have a second local variable which is stop, because I want to use it here, the same stop, as a local variable in the second loop. So what I can do is I can right click on the stop button, and I can go into the create and create a local variable. So we have a stop local variable as well, but again this is to write, but I want to read it. I want to use it to read. So change to read, and then I'm gonna connect this with the stop button, and then you can move it if you want. So this is my second local variable. But now you can notice the run arrow is broken, which indicates something is wrong with this whole VI that is preventing it from being able to run. So the problem here is it has to do with the mechanical action of the stop button. Boolean controls in LabVIEW has one of two types of mechanical actions. When a button is configured to have a switching action, pressing the button will switch its value, and it will hold that new value until it's pressed again. And when you press a button configured to have a latching action, it will hold the pressed value until it gets read. So then it will revert back to its original state. Moreover, buttons are created to have a latching action by default, but the latching action is not compatible when using these buttons with a local variable. Because if that variable is being read in multiple places, only the first node to read it, and after being pressed, the value back to its original value, and it's gonna revert it. So to change the button, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click on the button, and then I'm gonna go here mechanical actions, and then I need to change it switch when released. So as soon as I change the mechanical switching, you can see the run button is available now, so it's not broken anymore. So what I can do is now I can run the code, and now you can see like a random function generator is creating the value, and that is updating the Fahrenheit temperature as the same time. So you can see, and this is running all the time, and if you want to stop it, then what you can do is you can just stop the code. So in this way, by using the local variable, I have achieved my goal. My goal was to run all those loops simultaneously, and then I'm gonna stop the code. Okay, so in this way what we can do is we can use local variables throughout the program, and then we can run all the loops, or we can execute all the tasks simultaneously. So I want to highlight there are more variables as well, like global variables. So local variables you can use throughout the VI, but the global variables, what you can do is you can use within different codes, but all the global variables are limited until the same computer. So what you can do is you can create global variables, and then you can use that global variables into different codes, into different files. And there are some another variables which are called network published variables. So those variables can be used onto different computers as well, but those computers should be on the same network. So in this way we can save our time. But maybe you are thinking like, if you want to use a lot of variables, so maybe in this way you can avoid lot of wires, right? Yes, it is possible, but the thing is like LabVIEW is graphical programming, and it is dependent a lot on data flow. So if you are gonna use a lot of variables and you are gonna avoid the wires, so maybe you have to spend a lot of time on debugging, because there could be a lot of issues in data flowing, and because a lot of time the code is dependent on the previous values, and there could be a lot of data flow errors. So I would not suggest that, but if you want to run some parts of the code simultaneously, so in that way you can use local variables or global variables or whatever. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe to support this channel, where you are gonna find a lot of lab videos and tutorials. And if you are a serious LabVIEW learner, I am gonna highly recommend you can go into the description of this video and you can find my course link, where I have over 5 hours of LabVIEW videos in which I have explained each and every tool in a very detailed video with an example as well. And if you have some projects or assignments or tasks, feel free to write me on my email, which is also given in the description.